Hi, this is Walter Weesey with Yellowstone Country Fly Fishing and Parks Fly Shop. This is my fly tying video for February 12th, 2019. And what I'm going to be doing today is a pattern I came up with last fall called a Brindle Cripple. And it's kind of a takeoff on a pattern called a Brindle Shoot, which, as the name suggests, is a parachute pattern. And personally, I like fishing cripples better, and I find they float better, particularly because I tend to use synthetic wing and tail versus natural hair, and so they don't absorb water as badly. This fly worked really, really well on the Yellowstone last fall, and particularly in September. And what it represents basically are a couple different bugs: mahoganies, drake mackerels, which is a pattern we tend to call a tan drake, but a lot of folks call it a drake mackerel. And as the name suggests, it's a big tan, kind of rusty tan mayfly. And I think it also probably looks a bit like a flying ant. I think that's where the cinnamon kind of color comes in, that orange. And I think it also probably looks a little bit like a hopper. And so it's sort of a mayfly-ish attractor that covers a couple other bases as well. Okay, let's get started here. My hook for this one is going to be a Montana Fly Company 7000 size 16. And I'll tie this fly in basically 12 through 16. And 12s basically look more like a drake, and then the 16s look more like a mahogany, perhaps an ant. My thread is 8/0 rusty brown. Now the shuck on this fly is March brown EP trigger point fibers, and you can certainly use Mayfly brown Zelon or brown Montana Fly Company Widow's Web or whatever. In fact, I usually use Widow's Web for this fly, but I'm kind of trying out this new stuff. Have not used this material before, but it's just, crinkly brown synthetic is all you need there. And then the body on this fly is going to be kind of a dubbing blend, and this is actually quite a few different colors of dubbing here. I've got some gold, I've got some what looks like tan brown Hairtron, got some orange acrylic in there. And so what you want to do to get the precise kind of blend for this fly, in fact, to be honest with you, I can't remember precisely what this is because I did make this dubbing. You want to look up Brindle Shoot, and you'll find a recipe that gives kind of the approximate proportions of the dubbing. You kind of do have to make a dubbing on this one because it is definitely a blend. There's about 4 colors in there, and I think that's part of the effectiveness of both this and that original Brindle Shoot. I just Googled the original pattern and then kind of made up my own blend to match. I'm going to start here at the front and then go back. And this pattern, generally speaking, does kind of have a rough and ready sort of appearance, much more so than most mayflies. I'm going to stop there with about a quarter or a third of the shank bare. And then my wing here is going to be white widow's web, tied cripple style. So I'm going to start that just ahead of the body and then just leave it hanging out the front there. I'm going to come in and trim those butt ends short over the back of the fly like that and just leave the front like that for now. My hackle is going to be March brown dyed grizzly, and you could certainly use a dark ginger, a barred dark ginger, or a some kind of a light brown grizzly, or a golden straw grizzly. It's just kind of that general light brownish color with the barring. And then the key thing here with this style of cripple, which this is basically a DOA style cripple with that synthetic wing, and then what I'm going to do here is actually post this wing. I'll take a couple turns around the base there, kind of like I was getting started tying a parachute, but only a couple turns, and then I'll go in front of that wing post and kind of secure that mostly upright, like so. I don't leave it sticking straight out the eye. I like having an upright wing on these. And then next step here is I'm going to go ahead and put some super glue on that wing tie-in point. That's also going to help secure the hackle there. And then I'm going to make usually about 6 full turns of hackle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 behind the post. And I'm a little bit awkward here because I'm trying not to hit the camera. And then 2 in front there, so that's 6 turns. I'm going to secure that. And you may have noticed there when I accidentally trapped one of those fibers out of the wing, and all I did is just tore it out there. There's certainly enough in the wing that if you accidentally bind any down, just rip them out. I've got another one back here to do the same. You notice I have not yet trimmed that wing. Yeah, I tend to leave enough extra so that I'm certain, I can move it out of the way easily, I can manipulate it and so forth. And then once the fly is finished, that's when I'm going to tend to trim that wing post down. That last step there, as I trimmed that hackle underneath the fly, that's going to help that ride flush in the film. But you notice that is quite a bit of hackle on that fly. And so it's got a lot of hackle out to the sides. It's going to help that ride flush in the film, but ride upright and correct. I'm going to come in here with my synthetic scissors, and that's about where the hackle is. And so I'm going to slide that up slightly. Oop. Might be time to get a new pair of synthetic scissors because those are getting dull. And there you have it. That is a Brindle Cripple. And that's, like I said, it's kind of an imitative mayfly pattern, but it imitates 3 or 4 things at once. A couple different mayflies, a couple other things. And so it's in much the same vein as an Adams. A little bit more variegated sort of a body there, but otherwise very similar to an Adams, actually. And so if you have any sort of tan to red to gray sort of mayflies in your area, I suggest trying that. As always, thanks for watching, and if you need to contact me, use the links in the description below, and thank you for watching.